We recently had Lisa Bevere in this series, and we were discussing the story of one of your first events into ministry when almost all the men stood up and turned their chairs around. What advice would you have for a woman starting in ministry?
For myself, that incident that you relate was one that was a very healthy experience for me, because I went straight home and got on my knees and asked God to settle that issue for me. It had never been a problem for me before. I was raised in a home that was never brought up, I didn't even know it was an issue. And so I'm not sure it was all the men in the audience, but it seemed like all, and there were enough that it got my attention. So I went home and asked God to just show me, was I outside of His will? Was I contradicting His word by doing what I believed He had called me to do? So He led me to Jeremiah, and this is what I would advise a woman to do, to search the scriptures and have God confirm this for her. But for me, He told me from Jeremiah that Jeremiah had been called to be a prophet, to give out God's word, and he was giving God excuses. And basically, God said in Jeremiah chapter 1, I won't take your excuses. Don't say you're just a child. I'm going to put my words in your mouth. Don't be afraid of their faces. And I felt that God was telling me, Anne, I won't take your excuses. Don't give them to me. I'm going to put my words in your mouth. Don't be afraid of their backs if people, turn their backs or walk out on you. And then He said, you're accountable to me. He said, if you don't do what I say to you, then I'm going to terrify you in front of them. And I felt like He was saying, you're not accountable to your audience. You're accountable to me.